Hey movie junkies, welcome back to Twin Flicks, where we always here celebrating the magic of movies and most importantly, physical media with you. Now first off, I really wanted to get this video out a lot sooner than I had, but you know, one thing after another came up and things happened, life happens. So I just wasn't able to get it out until now, but I'm really excited to talk about this one because this movie was a casualty of big-time studio interference with a first-time writer and director. But Unearthed Films released this last month, and it's David Twohy's The Grand Tour. Now, as I said, this has a really interesting and a little bit of a heartbreaking story from behind-the-scenes aspect. Jeff Daniels stars as Ben, a widower who, with his daughter Hillary, played by Ariana Richards, decides to move and start a new life in the small town of Green Glen, Illinois, and renovate a small hotel. When they are visited by an eccentric woman seeking lodging for her and her 9 companions. Soon it's revealed the visitors are in fact time travelers who travel through history to witness different disasters in time. Almost like a field trip through history. Ben befriends one of the time travelers, and he gives Ben an opportunity to travel back in time to warn the townspeople of a devastating natural disaster and to save his daughter's life. Now, The Grand Tour, or its original and better title, Timescape, was the directorial debut of writer-director David Twohy, who went on to write some A-list films, such as The Fugitive, Waterworld, G.I. Jane, and he went on to write and direct such underrated gems as The Arrival and the phenomenal Below. Guys, if you haven't seen Below, you have to search it out. It is a must-see film. And also the thriller A Perfect Getaway, and he created, wrote, and directed the Riddick films. Now, The Grand Tour ended up being the unfortunate casualty to faulty studio heads who changed the title from Timescape to The Grand Tour, which, if you've seen the film, makes very little sense. The studio also promised Twohy a wide theatrical release. Instead, they made the complete asinine decision to dump the film straight to video and then licensing out to premium channels like HBO and Showtime, where they changed the title for a third time to The Grand Tour Disaster in Time, which honestly makes it sound like more of a Hallmark movie. The studio also made edits and cutting down the runtime to under an hour and 40 minutes, which drastically cut depth of characters, development, story, plot, and all of this was done behind David Twohy's back. And you can definitely tell when you watch the film that there is much more movie here than there is. Mostly with the first half of the film, where it feels very, very hurried to get us to certain points later on in the film, without much build-up and development. And when the disaster does finally hit the town, it's done with very little drama to it. The problem is we're just not given time to feel for anyone because, again, it all feels rushed to get us to the second half of the film, where Jeff Daniels is given the opportunity to change the course of things. Obviously, the studio, who also went bankrupt soon after the release, they just did not believe in this film. But it's really the second half of the film is when it really takes off, and we can see what David Twohy was going for. The best part of the movie takes place after Jeff Daniels travels 48 hours to the past and meets himself. It's great and a lot of fun seeing these scenes with 2 Jeff Daniels in the same shot, arguing with each other and then ultimately working together to save the townspeople. And this is where David Twohy highlights his talents by taking a new twist to the time travel genre and making it completely work in a very satisfying way. So even with its faults, more so with the first half of the film, overall the movie completely represents a strong and mature handling of not just the time travel aspect, but most importantly the emotional impact of loss and finding hope again, which is the message of the film. Jeff Daniels' performance is great as usual, and he's a lot of fun, witty, charming, especially when he plays against himself is a lot of fun. But I really enjoyed Ariana Richards, who plays his daughter and later went on to play Lex in Jurassic Park. Her performance is very warm, heartfelt, and also mature. And even with all its mishaps in the film and the studio mishandling the movie, you can tell David Twohy's talent as a writer and director, and why he became one of Hollywood's most sought-after screenwriters. I'm giving the Grand Tour a 4 out of 5. If you've never seen the Grand Tour, it's definitely worth checking out. All right, now let's switch gears here and talk about the Blu-ray quality. First off, just a little unboxing here. Again, this is from Unearthed Films on Blu-ray. And also, Unearthed Films decided to give this a reversible sleeve. So you have two different types of artwork on the back and the front. I prefer this one much better. Now, Grand Tour was given a new 1080p HD transfer sourced from a 4K scan that gives a very bright, clear, and active image. There's some really nice pop to the colors that look lifelike. Skin tones are very warm and natural. Black levels are solid and deep. However, I did notice some minor crushing in certain shots. Details are also very sharp and clear with no manipulative sharpening done. Objects and details in the foreground and background are clearly visible. Now, I will say one of the biggest complaints I've heard about this Blu-ray is the amount of debris, scratches, and dirt, with sometimes being slightly noticeable and other times being very noticeable. It's true, it does have all that. However, this is all inherited. This could be because of the low budget film stock they used, or it could be from the print that they sourced this from. Either way, this is all inherited issues, and it's not because of a poor transfer. Other than that, I didn't notice any compression artifacts or digital noise anywhere. Grain structure is fully intact with a nice layer of grain, giving a very nice filmic appearance to it. Alright guys, so my score for Unearthed Films Blu-ray presentation of the Grand Tour, I'm giving an overall 4 out of 5 for video and audio. Again, this is a terrific presentation. Unearthed Films did a great job with this, and it's definitely worth adding to your collection. Alright guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me for a few minutes here and talking about Timescape or the Grand Tour, which again makes no sense if you've seen the movie. As always guys, keep physical media alive, and I'll see you next time.